All right, guys, this is a quick little lap guide on what you want to be looking for here at what I am now officially calling the Portuguese roller coaster. One of my now top five favorite tracks. A lot of blind uphill and downhill corners to be careful of, and especially driving the HPD, you're going to need to trail brake to set your car up to turn, which is going to be an absolute blast. So let us get this thing started off as we're headed down the main straight into turn one. Notice coming here, pit lane has a very interesting exit. It's going to spit you out pretty much right into the first corner. So something to be careful of, especially um, mid race, people pitting and or coming out of the pits, as well as when we come out of the pits. It's going to be a pretty wild ride. From this view, you can't really see it, but we are now officially headed downhill. Let me head on into the cockpit to what you see. You can see it's downhill a good chunk away all this time, flat out, flat out, flat out, until you get down here to the bottom, and it's going to be a fun, tight little, very slow third, high revving second gear corner. Got to get this thing slowed down quite a bit. You do have a little bit of a hill to help you out here. And what you really need to do is drag that brake quite a bit to help rotate the car like that. Aiming for just inside this yellow curb to help get that car set into the corner. Then a little bit of a straight, kind of aiming out this direction just to the right of whatever that building is into another corner. Little kind of little kink that you can keep your foot down in for it. And then once again, kind of exiting the corner out in a straight-ish line, aiming for kind of like the end of this red curbing where that orange barrier is before jumping really hard onto the brakes down into first. Really got to get down onto those brakes and slow this thing up. This is a very, very tight hairpin turn that you want to get as close as possible into that yellow curbing again to help set that car up. More acceleration. Now we start headed back up the hill here with a sweeper to the left. And oh boy, is this one a little sketchy right now. I'm just using the baseline setup. I got a feeling for this track it's going to be a medium to high downforce setup. Really going to be relying on that grip. Oops, that's scenic. Here's cockpit. As we can see here, coming up the hill, you're gonna lose traction because of the unloading on the suspension. So a slight lift as you're coming up through this corner helps set that car up to rotate. Really trying to put those tires up here. Not too much on the curbing because of the rumble strips might upset it. However, you really got to get close to it. And then a nice little long straight. You can exit quite wide. I have yet to get a slowdown from really sending it out, but you do end up just delta wise losing a bunch of time having to go all the way out there. So you do have room for error. However, it is not the fastest way around. Heading down here, another little straight. Now we're headed back down the hill, and this one's gonna be tricky. You're gonna want to start braking about right here, which is just after this line on the side. So just after the 50-meter line into this corner, and it's going downhill, which is going to help you actually keep some of that weight up there on the nose to help you turn. This is going to be another one that you are going to be hard down into first, a tight, tight corner. Really trying to turn in to get those wheels up almost onto that yellow. And I mean, in cockpit, it looks like from here you are on that yellow line, but I'm still half a car width out. But the way this track is graded, it actually being closer to the corner is going to actually help you rotate up and through. So that is something you need to be very cautious of and conscious of. And you can see here as I'm still coming into the corner, just trailing the brake just a little bit. Really helps that car to rotate before getting back up onto the gas to finish that rotation. Headed back up the hill here. Nice flat out section. While still coming up the hill again, looking at about the 50-meter board. And this one's going to be a little tricky, actually. Um, it's going to feel like you want to go a little bit faster. However, this is a quick double section, kind of getting yourself all lined up. As we go ahead, take a look here. Getting on the brakes just as you're passing that 50-meter board down into the corner again, trying to get as close to that yellow as possible while also getting back on the throttle. So that little brake and downshift helps the car rotate and gets you through the corner, which you do there. And then the second you come out of it, you're going to be hard on the brakes yet again, trying to aim kind of towards this white dash line here as you're coming through. And that's where we're going to start braking again and brake in hard. At this point, you want to try to straighten the wheel up as much as possible, because if you're mid-turn and slam on the brake, you're just going to loop it right on around. But to really get this set up, you gotta whoa it way down into first. Now, don't do what I did here, and I completely missed the apex. You really want to get your turn in again as close to that yellow curbing as possible, because then we're also going to be starting to send it back up and over a hill yet again. And man, this track is just so much fun. Can't wait for you guys to test drive it on your own. Now this one's going to be a little tricky because you come down the hill, keeping your foot in it, and as you're coming back up, this is going to completely unload the car, and the car is going to want to spin. Again, kind of hugging that left-hand side and hitting those brakes pretty much right here. The top of the hill is at the 100-meter board mark. Want to really get down onto those brakes, get it down into second gear. And again, kind of trailing the brake, and it's a long extended corner. So we're going to be kind of feathering that brake. The brake is going to be the important key to this race, is getting that kind of the brake skill engaged here today. Again, aiming for the outer part of the track down into, let me just double check here. I think this is second, but it might be first. Of course, my hands are in the way. Yeah, down into second. Again, just trying to modulate that brake and throttle, aiming for the, again, inside part, but you actually want to delay it just a little bit, kind of to where the green AstroTurf area is, and allow the car to slide out to the side. You can slide a little too far, so be careful of that. That is going to kill your speed on this next little sector as we come back down the hill. Again, flat out. And what you're going to be looking for here is these cones over on your left-hand side. The second you get to this access roads kind of side here, you got to be really thinking about getting this car slowed down. Again, hard onto the brakes, down into first. And again, really trying to get that car up to the inside. I still have room to go. You can see a good full, probably almost half car width here. Trying to get it to the inside and all the way rotated through this corner once again. Let me show it to you from inside, what it looks like and how much room you actually have as we go ahead and send it on in. And again, here inside the car, looks like you're right up on it, but man, you still have that half a car room. Again, this HPD is sitting just slightly right of center, so something to be cautious of and kind of keep in mind as you get back down into the gas. And this is a quick little send back down the hill that really sets you up for the final corner that you have to get right. Aiming for this water tower in the distance is kind of where you want to start headed as we head back down the hill. Now, this is going to be a very difficult transition period heading down the hill, trying to get on those brakes. and it's all to set up this long sweeping corner, and it just loops all the way around. Again, got a feeling it's going to be a high downforce setup for this track to help get this car rotated through these corners as we jump back into the car. And even here, I don't do that great of a job. And you want to try to get not quite on to the curbing. That upsets the car just a little bit too much, but as close to the curbing as you can get before getting it back onto the throttle and aiming out to where that red runoff portion is, maybe even just a little bit further down from it. But we are flat out from here on out as we head on down into the final corner. You can take one heck of a chunk out of this beast of a final corner, and we'll give you a tip or give you a reason why here just in a second. As we can see here, getting really close as possible into that center as we're once again unloading that suspension, heading on down the hill. We are able to keep it flat out if you stay as close to that line as possible. I even, a couple laps of practice, accidentally took a extra little chunk here. No slowdown or anything like that. It did affect the exit just a little bit. But what you do not want to do is head out way outside here. If you end up on the outside for this final corner, you're going to need to at least lift the throttle a little bit to set the car up to finish its rotation here as we finally come on out, and away we go to finish out this lap. As you can see, this is one of my favorite tracks, probably top 5 road course track, probably in the sim as of now, as we'll just go ahead and do a complete ride here inside the cockpit to finish things up before sending it on back to you guys, heading down the front straightaway, and you can kind of see everything all in rhythm. Head on down to this first corner. Again, really hard down into third, keeping that brake pressure there to keep it rotated. Hear me there coming up that hill, just modulating that throttle to making sure I keep that turning. Even lock the brake up just a little bit there with some late trail braking, so be a little conscious of it. Getting trail braking to really set that car up into the turn, get as close to that curbing as possible before heading into this little final sector. And you can see I went out just a little too wide, was able to recover, but it slowed it way, way down as we head into this final corner. And then back down the straightaway we go. And as you can see there, a 1:37.7 so far. My best time. I'm sure all of y'all can beat it. I've been out of the sim for quite a while. So I'm sure you guys will definitely be kicking that numbers. But I got a feeling probably a good race pace. I'm probably off by a good 3 or 4 seconds. So 1:33, 1:34 is probably what we're going to be seeing here. And we look forward to a wonderful race here in Portugal.